Every year, same story. January hits, entrepreneurs everywhere start writing down goals, revenue targets, mindset shifts, word of the year, and then by March, nothing has actually changed. Not because the goals were bad, because the goals weren't the problem. Here's what nobody wants to say out loud. Most operators don't have a goals problem. They have an operations problem. And you can set the most inspiring goal in the world, but if the systems underneath your business are broken, that goal is just a wish. Today we're not talking about mindset. We're not talking about vision boards. We're talking about the 5 operational shifts that actually change outcomes. The ones that make 2026 different from every year before it. Before we get into it, if you're a business owner, an operator, or someone who's tired of working hard with nothing to show for it, hit subscribe. This isn't a hype show. This isn't about motivating you. This is about building a business that actually runs when the cameras are off. Welcome to Notebook of a COO. I want to start with something real. There's a version of you that has been through this before. You've started a year with energy. You've made promises to yourself. You've told yourself this time is different. And somewhere between January and June, the business pulled you back into the same patterns. Same chaos, same bottlenecks, same feeling of spinning without moving. And I'm not here to shame you for that, because that's not a discipline problem, that's a systems problem. The year doesn't change the business. The business changes when you change what's underneath it. So today we're going operational. 5 shifts, real ones, the kind that rewire how your business runs, not just how you feel about it. Here's the uncomfortable truth about most annual planning. It's emotional, not operational. People sit down in December or January, they look at their numbers, they feel the gap between where they are and where they want it to be, and instead of diagnosing why the gap exists, they just set a bigger number. Like the answer to not hitting 500K is to write 1 million on a sticky note. I see operators do this constantly. They chase revenue while their fulfillment is broken. They add clients while their team is already underwater. They invest in marketing while their operations leak money every single week. Growth without operational foundation isn't scale. It's acceleration toward a wall. And I know some of you watching this right now are nodding. Drop a comment if you've been there. If you've ever hit a revenue goal and somehow felt worse because everything behind the scenes was still on fire. That's the tension, and that's what we're solving today. Let's talk about the 5 operational shifts that will change your business 2026. Shift number 1 is stop managing time, start managing decisions. Most operators think their problem is time management. It's not. Your real constraint is decision volume. Every time someone has to come to you for an answer, that's a decision you haven't systematized yet. Every time you're the only person who knows how something gets done, that's a single point of failure wearing a founder hat. The first shift is moving from time management to decision architecture. That means asking, which decisions should never reach me? Which decisions need a clear framework so anyone on my team can make them confidently? And which decisions are actually mine to own? Most operators are drowning in tier 1 decisions, routine calls that have clear right answers, because they never built the system to delegate them. Every decision you remove from your plate is time you get back without hiring anyone. This brings me to shift 2, fix your fulfillment before you touch your marketing. This one is going to sting for some of you. If your delivery is inconsistent, if clients have mixed experiences, if your team isn't clear on the process, if the onboarding is a mess, adding marketing is not going to help you. It's going to amplify the leak. I talk to operators all the time who want to grow, and the first thing they mention is ads, or content, or a new funnel. And when I ask them to walk me through what happens after someone buys, the answer is different every time. Your fulfillment process is your brand promise delivered. If it's inconsistent, your reputation becomes inconsistent. If it's unclear, your team executes inconsistently. If it's dependent on you, you become the bottleneck again. Shift 2 is this. Before you spend $1 on acquisition, document and tighten what happens after someone says yes. Map the client journey from payment to outcome. Find the gaps, fill them with process, not personality. Next is shift 3. Build one real metric dashboard. Here's a question. Right now, without opening anything, can you tell me your close rate on new leads, your average client lifetime value, your team's capacity utilization? If you hesitated on any of those, That's the problem. Most operators run their businesses on vibes and bank balance. They check the account, it looks okay, so they feel okay. Then a slow month hits and they panic because they have no early warning system. Data doesn't lie. It just tells you things you weren't ready to hear. Shift 3 is committing to a small number of meaningful metrics. I call them your 5 core operator metrics and reviewing them weekly. Not vanity metrics, not follower counts. Revenue per client, lead to close rate, fulfillment cost per unit, team capacity, cash runway. When you know those numbers cold, you stop reacting to your business and start steering it, and that changes everything about how you make decisions. Drop a comment if you're currently operating without a real metrics dashboard. You're not alone, and it's absolutely fixable. Next is Shift 4. Eliminate your biggest bottleneck, which is probably you. I'll say it plainly. In most small businesses, the biggest bottleneck is the owner. Not because they're bad at their job, because they're too good at everything, and nobody built the systems to make their involvement optional. Think about what breaks when you take 2 weeks off. What doesn't get done? What decisions stall? What clients start reaching out directly? That answer is your priority list for 2026. Shift 4 is deliberately removing yourself from one critical process each quarter. Not stepping back from the whole business, just one thing. Every 90 days. Document it, train someone on it, build the quality check, then actually let go. You are not a valuable business asset when you're the only one who can run it. You're a liability. Real leverage starts when the business can execute without you in the room. Last is Shift 5. Create a 90-day operating rhythm, not a 12-month vision. 12-month plans feel good in January. They rarely survive contact with reality. By quarter 3, the market has shifted, the team has changed, and you're either chasing a plan that no longer makes sense or abandoning it entirely and starting over. Operators who actually move consistently work in 90-day windows, not because they don't have a long-term vision, they do, but because they know that execution happens in quarters, not years. Here's the structure. 1 big operational priority per quarter, 3 to 5 supporting projects, weekly check-ins against those targets, monthly recalibration if something shifts. That's it. Simple enough to follow, specific enough to actually drive action. When you have a 90-day rhythm, every Monday has purpose, every team conversation has a frame, and you stop waking up wondering what you're supposed to be working on. So here's where I want you to sit with this. 5 shifts. None of them require a new tool. None of them require a rebrand or a new offer. None of them require you to hustle harder. They require you to be honest. Honest about where your business actually breaks down. Honest about where you're the problem. Honest about what you've been avoiding because fixing it is less exciting than chasing something new. Your action step before this episode ends. Pick one of these 5 shifts and answer this question out loud. What would have to be true for me to actually make this change this quarter? Not what do I need to learn, not what tool do I need, what has to be true in your business, in your team, in your calendar. That answer is your Q1 operating priority. And if you want a real framework for working through this, assessments, systems, operator training, that's exactly what we built Notebook of a COO around. The link is in the description. We've been doing this long enough to know that the year doesn't change things. You do. And the version of you that does it differently isn't more motivated. It's more systematic. If this episode hit home, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment telling me which shift you're starting with. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do that now. We're building operators here, not just entrepreneurs. There's a difference. Wherever you are, that is exactly where you are supposed to be. But that does not mean you have to stay there. Until next time.